Are you a fearful avoidant who finds that they can really fall hard in relationships or get really excited about things right out of the gates? Maybe a new job or a potential vision you have for your future, a big dream, or even a goal. Like start off really, really strong. But then when it comes to a big commitment, a big long term commitment, especially in things like marriage, relationships, whether it be having children, buying a home with somebody, getting married, or even like a long term commitment in the workplace with money, investments, these sorts of dynamics, do you find yourself starting to get really, really cold feet? Well, in this video, we're going to cover some major reasons as to why this happens and help you really unpack what you can do to remove these fears so that you can have a healthy, balanced relationship to commitment. First and foremost, there is a deep subconscious wound that fearful avoidants carry around trust. And this often comes from having been exposed to a lot of chaos growing up in some kind of form, where it led you to not really feel like you could trust your environment, your caregivers, or kind of trust the world. And what this leads to is a lot of subconscious fears around trust. And so when we make a big commitment, inherently within a pretty large commitment is a substantial amount of trust that's required in order to get there. Because if you're going to commit to a long term relationship, you have to trust that that's a good decision. If you're going to commit to investing your money in something, you have to have a certain degree of trust that that's an appropriate decision to make. If you're going to commit to a job, a goal that you have to trust in that potential outcome. So with small commitments, fearful avoidants don't generally have too hard of a time, but those big long term commitments where trust is required, it can start getting kind of scary. So, what can you do about this, right? Well, one of the first things you want to be able to do is unpack those trust wounds. And this really looks like, and you can actually go through this exercise with me in this video. If I'm committing to somebody, what am I afraid will happen? What are all the things I'm afraid will go wrong? And you want to dump out all those different concerns and fears because what you want to get to is a place where you're making your decisions not from stored subconscious beliefs that are causing those fear based responses, but instead that you're getting to that place from an evaluation of the situation that's not rooted in fear. Right. An evaluation of the situation where you're looking more objectively, like this could happen, this could happen. And you're seeing the good and the bad and you're being cautious and conscientious, but you're able to make a decision not swayed by old subconscious programming because of past traumas and experiences. So you want to find out all those different stories and then you really want to question them. Can I 100% know that that for sure everybody leaves or everybody betrays you eventually in relationships? And wherever you see those like polarities, those ideas that are like very all or nothing, you know that those are rooted in fears from past experiences. And you want to challenge them and question them so that you bring your thinking about these different dynamics back to center. So you're able to look and go, you know what? This could happen, this might not happen, but I can see what I can bring to the table in terms of a long term commitment, let's say in a relationship. So you might, for example, go, maybe one of the fears you find is something like, everybody will betray you eventually in relationships. And, you hear in that the polarity, like that all or nothing thinking, you hear the cognitive distortion in it, right? You hear that it's like everybody always forever, right? And a healthier reframe and a healthy place to get back to center around is people make mistakes in relationships from time to time, but I might be able to trust this person to make a long-term commitment because I see that we know how to work through conflict, we know how to talk about our needs, and we both really care to show up and invest in this relationship. So you're not sitting here going, no one will ever betray your trust or break your trust, but you're able to see very clearly, look, there's this investment that I'm willing to make because there's a lot of things working for this relationship dynamic. The same thing happens when it comes to like buying a home. Of course, the sky could fall, right? But, okay, maybe you've saved enough money. Maybe you trust yourself to be able to budget pretty effectively in this situation. So the more you can get into a situation where you're not thinking from fear, but you're more able to objectively analyze based on what your needs are in a situation and show up and invest in those needs, now you're in a healthy place. Now you're in fair and balanced thinking, right? And it doesn't mean don't address red flags and things like that. It just means show up and be cautious and conscientious, but don't move from fear, move from truth, right? Truth is based on your needs the vast majority of the time. So, what you want to look at is that as a number one way to move through fear of big commitments. And number two, sometimes we fear commitment when we are not communicating what our needs are to others, because then we feel trapped, we feel enmeshed, we feel stuck. And um, when you feel stuck and like you're not seen and understood, you don't want to commit to anybody, right? You're like, well, as soon as I commit to you, I go away forever because my needs are not present in this relationship right now. I'm not seen and understood in this relationship. So when I commit to that, I commit to literally living a life of being unseen or understood. And this really goes hand in hand with number three, which is if you're not setting boundaries, right? That boundarylessness is not something you want to commit to long term. So that brings us to how to solve for this, which is we want to be able to show up and know our boundaries and set them. And we want to be able to communicate our needs and bring them into a romantic partnership or any big commitment that we have that we're fearing so that we can be seen, known, heard, understood. We allow ourselves to take up space. And then we feel like we're known. We feel like there's a chance that everything can go smoothly from this point forward. So this is all very, very important to pay attention to. Now, if you want to do a deeper dive into a lot of this stuff, you can check out for 7 days for free our trial to the boundaries course. It's really important for fearful avoidance, and it will help you understand what your boundaries are, how to set them, and also how to not be afraid to set them so you can feel seen and known and understood going forward. And also that your boundaries are respected going forward by others in your life. So that's it for today. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, or consider subscribing to this channel if you're enjoying the content here. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.